Until Dawn. I went today and seen the movie, and here is my review. Until Dawn, based on a video game, but the movie is not like the video game. So you don't have to play the video game to understand this movie. It's its own thing. Clover has a sister named Melanie. Their mom died, so Melanie wants to leave, start over in New York. So she leaves. But she doesn't end up in New York. She ends up missing. So Clover, understandably, wants to find out what happened to her sister. So she has her good friend Nina, Max, and Megan. Abel is Nina's latest boyfriend. He tags along. So they're on a road trip, basically retracing Melanie's steps, hoping to find her. Max used to be Clover's boyfriend, but they're not together like that. But Max wishes they were. Megan, she's a, what do you call those people that can feel things, feel spirits, feel things going on? She's one of those kind of people. All right. So they're all on this road trip. We stop at a gas station. Clover goes in, talks to the guy. That's the guy who was in the video game, and this guy also has a role in the movie. So she talks to him, and then they get back on the road. All of a sudden, this storm hits, and they can't see a thing, but they're still driving. All of a sudden, they make this cross over this line, and it's not storming, it's not raining, and there's a house right there. So this house is located on a part of a land that had a town there, but due to an incident, the whole town was destroyed. But here's this house. So they go inside, and then they're investigating, and they come across this book that people sign their names in, and they notice that Clover's sister, her name is in that book with other names. And then Abel, he's looking around, he finds a room with all these missing people pictures on the wall. And so questions are asked. Then Megan feels something is wrong, but of course they can't escape, because if they try to get in their vehicle the first time, the vehicle just drove itself into the storm and was honking the horn, and it scared them. The other time they tried to escape, a big monster was in the storm, and they went back to the house. All right, so an hourglass turns, and then a killer comes to kill them. And after this happens, they come back to life. They're shocked, of course. What happened? What's going on? Then they notice that people's names in the book only total 13 times at most for each of them. And so each night is supposed to be a different way to die or to survive. That really doesn't happen in this movie. It fell short. The one negative that you'll notice with this movie when watching it, a lack of variety from the creatures. You're going to see the same creatures over and over again, and it's going to be a missed opportunity, the lack of variety. If they could do this over again, they would definitely add more variety. It really hinders the movie. So you're going to see the same old, same old. And there's a scene in the movie where Abel pulls out his phone, and he has these clips that he was taking, and you're going to see some variety of creatures, but you're going to see just a small clip from the phone footage that I recorded, and not actually see it in the movie. What a missed opportunity. There was your variety. So eventually they, go around the house looking at papers, looking through things, and then they discover that, they have to survive to live. They got to make it to the morning. So they try different ways to survive. And of course, they keep failing and failing. But the big thing is they want to stay together, except for Abel. Abel, he doesn't care who dies. He wants to go. But the rest of them, they don't want to leave each other. So they're not going to leave unless they all can leave. So that's their whole thing. And then, of course, Clover finds her sister. So overall, I would say this movie is okay. It's worth watching. But it could have been so much better. And I'll tell you how. Now, if you don't want any spoilers, stop the video. Watch it for yourself. It's okay to watch. Nothing special. All right, spoilers. So, of course, Clover's sister, Melanie, is a creature now. So what happens is, once you make it to 13 tries of trying to survive, as these attempts are happening, you're turning into a creature yourself. So every time you die and come back, you're turning more and more into a creature. So basically, after 13 times, you'll be a creature. You'll be part of this world, so to speak. And so they figured that out. And Melanie, that's what happened to her. She became a creature. So basically like zombies, really. Wendigos, they call them. So they end up, through trial and error, they end up just going through a door that they only opened one time and said, no, we're not going through that door. They finally decide to go through that door, have all the Wendigos chasing them. So Clover ends up killing her sister, and then all of them make it out and they survive. So that's the movie. Now, I give it a 6 out of 10. It could have been a 10 out of 10 if they would have did this. They say that this world, basically, that they were in, the creatures in it were from Clover, from her mind, based on her fears, her anxieties, and so on and so on. So to me, this wasn't fleshed out. What should have happened, if it was based on Clover, the way she was feeling, the first night should have started off with something, not too dramatic, not gruesome, pretty simple, right? And then as the nights would continue, then her fear escalates, her anxieties, her hopelessness. Then you could have had the creatures of those nights grow in stature and strength and gruesomeness to reflect how she's feeling. Each night that passes is getting worse and worse because her fear is growing, her hopelessness is growing. That doesn't happen in this movie. Missed opportunity. And that speaks to the lack of variety. There's a certain character with a mask on. You see him all the time. You're like, dude, leave. You see these Wendigos all the time. You're like, okay, we get it. Leave. And the variety that they do try to show you is a witch who's just sitting there with a gas mask. And she just puts a gas mask over Clover's face and she becomes a killing machine. It's lame. It is one of the lamest things you'll ever see. And so that's why this isn't a 10 out of 10. And then the end. It was lame for Clover to kill her sister Because what should have happened, this would have been, once again, a 10 out of 10 if at the end, Melanie would have been chasing Clover and Megan because they were together, and then Abel, Nina, and Max were together in a different part of the property. It would have been better if it just would have been Clover by herself, digging up through the tunnel, reaching through the earth, Melanie chasing her. And then when Clover gets out, it hits the daytime. The hourglass has run out. And then it would have had Melanie, half her body would have been coming out of the ground trying to get her. But once the sun came up, once the hourglass stopped, Melanie turned into her normal self. But she dies, within seconds. But she's able to see her sister and, say, I'm sorry, I love you, thank you, something like that. And that way, Clover could have seen her sister one last time. They could have seen each other, said something to each other. And then had everyone who had turned, they could have showed them all, turning back into themselves, but dying. Or if you wanted to do a happy ending, they turn back to themselves and they live. If you wanted to be, happy-go-lucky about the ending. But to me, that would have made this, a 10 out of 10. But to me, the lack of variety, the way Clover killed her monster sister, I just got to give it a 6 out of 10. Should have been better, could have been better. So that's my review of Until Dawn. Like I said, it's worth watching. I mean, it's good enough. But let me know what you think if you've seen the movie. That is my Until Dawn review. And if you haven't played the game, I suggest you play it. It's really good. And I do think they can make an Until Dawn 2, but this time, do what I said. Add variety, make each night truly special, make it escalate each night, and I think you could have a 10 out of 10